Greetings, friends, and welcome back to the Small Brand Podcast, where today we're driving from one of the most remote places in all of Japan. We're doing a little driving episode, and I've set up the camera for all the people complaining that I don't do enough video podcasts. So here I am risking my life fiddling with a fucking camera. So you're welcome. Yeah, so 3-day trip all the way to Wakkanai, Cape Soya, the northernmost part of Japan. And then we took a 2-ish hour ferry to Rishiri, which, by the way, was supposed to cost $110 each way, which is already kind of a lot. When I got to the rental car place, they said, I know you reserved the compact car, but so many people have been getting in accidents with these cars because it's Golden Week. There's a lot of tourists, and they're all renting these compact cars, and they're like, you know what, we're going to give you the safer option. Also, they may have just run out of Honda Fits. I'm not really sure what happened there, but I just went along with it. They gave me the free upgrade, little SUV crossover. So anyways, I fucking made it to the ferry, but that was after I did some off-roading in the SUV, because I'm like, you know what? When am I going to have an SUV in the middle of nowhere, Japan again? So I did a little off-roading, dipped my feet in the water, you know what I'm saying? Made it to the ferry, and apparently in Japan, when you ride a ferry, you're supposed to hand over like the title to your car, which has like all the information, all the dimensions of the car and everything. And so I gave the lady my sheet, and she's like, oh, it's over. And I was like, how much did I go over? And she's like, 50 centimeters. The class of the ferry that I signed up for, is this moving? It's probably moving. The class of ferry that I signed up for only got me up to like 400 centimeters, which would be 4 meters, I think. Yeah, I think that's how that works. So I was 50 centimeters over. This car is 450 centimeters. I signed up for the 400 one. I was like, okay, that's fine. And she like told me some information, and then I was like, okay, fine, whatever, just whatever we have to do. And then she fucking rang my card up again, and it was an additional $140. So I thought it was expensive, to 1.5, 2 hour ferry. I thought $110 was expensive. And then she charged me $140 on top of the $110. So I didn't even get like a refund for the original ticket I bought. She just full on charged me for a brand new ticket for a bigger car. So I don't know, I'm gonna talk to my credit card company and see if I can get rid of it, but going over a bump. There we go. There you go, little buddy. I gotta make sure your precious view of me is unimpeded. This would have been a lot easier audio podcast, but here we are. Yeah, so took the ferry to Rishiri, and you know what happened with this video is I planned 3 days to go from Sapporo to two of the most remote islands, two of the most remote places in the entire country. And I just feel like it wasn't quite enough. Like, we had a nice, fun adventure. We met a few local people, but I think it just takes a few days to get warmed up to a new place. I think anytime you do one of these trips where you're just kind of running and gunning, you know what I'm saying? Like trying to get... Oh, fuck. You okay, little buddy? I think these like run and gun trips are just, I don't know, they're so exhausting, and I feel like you're not able to, I honestly just feel like the video would be better if I stayed here like 4 days or 5 days. Something about like doing 1 day in each place just isn't quite enough. But at the same time, as I say that, Wakkanai, we spent 2 days there, and it sucked balls. People just weren't really very friendly, just kind of cold people, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, it's a back and forth in my mind, but it's like you get somewhere that you start to enjoy it, and you're like, oh, well, it's time to go. So I think in the future, the next trip I do like this is going to be a little more slow-paced, I guess. I mean, we're in Japan fucking 3 months. It's not like we have any good reason to rush. God damn, you fucking beeping. So, yeah. I don't know, I just feel like I didn't give this area of Japan enough of a chance, and I'm driving home now, the video's over, and I just feel like it's kind of growing on me. I'm kind of starting to realize this part of Japan is more like Kansas or Indiana or like Kentucky or Tennessee. It's very, very country. The people are, I think, a little more skeptical of outsiders. I think that's why I wasn't able to get like super deep local connections. I just figured I could show up for a day in Rishiri, make a local friend, go on an adventure, and I just think Japan is not quite the place for that. And this travel vlogging thing, I'm figuring it out as I go. as with everything. And I feel like everybody does that for everything they do in their life. They just kind of jump in and figure it out. But that's the beauty of the Small Brained American channel. I feel like that's what we do. We just jump in, figure it out, make mistakes. And I know, like, God, this camera work's gonna be terrible. I know that's high risk, high reward behavior. You know what I'm saying? Like, take the India series. Like, I jumped in fully there. Some of the videos, I was just eating a bag of dicks for 40 minutes, and the others, I had fantastic experiences. So it just really depends on where you're at, what you're doing, when you go. I feel like Rishari, we took a fucking big leap of faith. Oh my God, it's a fucking camera. I feel like Rishari, we took and the beeping, God damn you. I need a mount. I feel like Rishari, there we go, take 3. I feel like Rishari, we took a big risk, just kind of showing up and figuring it out. The rain was really bad. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess you'll see it in the YouTube video if you watch it after this, after I'm talking endless shit about it. But I guess you'll see. Just high risk, high reward. And I feel like that's the beauty of what I'm trying to do is sometimes it works out great and magical things happen and it's entertaining. And sometimes I just eat shit for an entire video and it's also entertaining. So we'll see. We'll see how it turns out in the edit. But yeah, how are you guys doing? You doing okay? You guys traveling? Gotta get out there, man. Just book a one-way flight and fucking figure it out. And you know, like, I say that, I don't know if I would recommend the way I do it to everybody, just like your average person. Because, you know, if you have like limited vacation days with your job, I know it can be tough. Jesus fuck! Alright. You know, it can be tough to get the time off, and you want to make sure you're going to have a great time. But honestly, even the bad experiences make for hilarious stories, and I feel like that's kind of what the channel is like, stop beeping, I'm filming a podcast, Mom. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of the beauty of the channel and the ugliness of the channel at the same time, is like, when it doesn't turn out great, it makes for a great story and a great video. So, I mean, and it's not like I intentionally seek out to have bad experiences. It's just, honestly, this is the way I've traveled for as long as I can remember. This is the way my family does it. This is the way I do it. We're just not much of planners. Like, book things a few weeks out and just kind of figure it out, you know? But honestly, I feel like I was a little too hard on the north of Japan in my videos. It was almost like a Dominica situation where I turned up, started filming, and kind of had some negative things to say, and then later I was, you know, it's just how it goes, man. It's just how it goes. You just figure it out as you go. And I think I'm going to continue filming like the first few days in a place, because I think that's the most kind of impactful time. That, you know, right after you arrive is when you learn the most. It's when you have the craziest adventures, and like the learning curve is super steep and it's really fun. And I'm not going to discontinue doing that. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. It's a little bit of a shame, because I'm driving home right now and I'm seeing the allure of the north of Japan. It's like, it reminds me of where my grandparents lived. It reminds me of kind of my roots. You know what I'm saying? As a child, just hanging out in the country, fucking driving, going off-roading in the pasture, fucking scaring the cows, and I can just see it. I really see it here. I really see the similarities. You know, like I said, maybe they're skeptical of outsiders and they're not super welcoming to foreigners. But then I think once you do break down that wall, people are like super kind, and especially the people when they know a little bit of English and they're super eager to talk to you. I think you have really amazing connections. Because, I mean, dude, imagine, like, yeah, it's a risk, and yeah, not everybody talks to you when you're in fucking Rishari, Japan, a place that I didn't even hear of till I started doing YouTube. But once you do connect with somebody, I mean, dude, what a random encounter. I mean, fucking edge of the earth, we're right next, you can literally see Russia from where we're at in the north of Japan. And to have a connection with somebody this far out is just... Stop fucking beeping. To have a connection with somebody this far out in the world, in this different of an environment, is fucking hell. God damn you. Yeah, it's really just amazing, and I'm really lucky, really fortunate to have experiences like this. I think on the way, I'm gonna hold the camera. That's what I'm gonna hold the camera. I think on the way up here, I was. It's just the way it goes. Like sometimes you're in a new place, you're not super like acclimated to how it goes, the culture and everything like that. And I think once I first got up here, I was kind of fighting it. You know what I'm saying? I was a little uncomfortable, and for better or worse. But now after 3 days, I feel like I've kind of eased into it, and I can see the beauty in the north of Japan. So, I was talking shit. Honestly, stop fucking beeping. Dude, these Japanese cars are so loud. They fucking beep anytime you go slightly over the line. So what if I'm drunk? Huh? 2 beers isn't drunk. No, I'm just kidding. Oh my god, grazing deer. I don't even remember what we're talking about. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to keep it real with you guys. I'm going to be very honest with the places that I go and everything, but I'm just driving home a little more softened up to the place, and it's really growing on me, man. I don't know if I could ever live out here. It's super isolated, really just farms and shit, but it's like really interesting to visit. I just wouldn't imagine like somewhere so far out here in the countryside would actually be kind of similar to the US. I mean, even the drive in was like, flatlands and prairies and fucking farmlands, and then you get to the coast and it looks like Ireland. And it's funny, like the more you travel, the more similarities you see between like places that you would never expect to be similar. Like, you would never expect Japan to look like Ireland, or you never would expect Japan to look like fucking Kansas or Ohio or Indiana, but it does in some places. And I feel like that's part of the reason why travel makes you more creative. It like connects a lot of dots in your mind. God damn this fucking car, dude. They really idiot-proof this thing. Although the lane assist doesn't actually assist you in maintaining your lane, it just beeps at you annoyingly. Like, does it even... Like, yeah, I know I went slightly over. I fucking know that. I know. I can see. God damn. I mean, it'd be one thing if I was texting and driving, and then, that would actually be slightly useful, but in this situation, I don't know. I'm filming a podcast. Shut up. Yeah, but honestly, I didn't expect Japan to feel this lonely out here. Like, I was driving out in the countryside. Oh my fucking god. I was driving out in the countryside and didn't see a single soul at all, which, coming from a big city, we've been in Sapporo for about 2 weeks now, is a little destabilizing. It feels... Realistically, it's probably safer out in the countryside, like crime-wise and whatever, traffic incidents, whatever. Whatever the leading cause of death would be in cities in Japan, I don't even know. Smoking? Fucking beating your wife too hard? I don't know. But it was a little destabilizing at first. But now I'm just driving home. It's probably just because I know I'm going back to Sapporo, to the safety and the comfort, the big city comforts. But it's just so relaxing, and but it is scary, and it's definitely like an adjustment, I think just in my experiences in Japan, I expected people to kind of come up to me and talk to me and be a little more open, but again, I think it's just the harsh conditions up here. They're probably not used to seeing foreigners at all. But honestly, that's why I thought they'd be like super geeked out to talk to somebody from another country. But yeah, I just haven't really experienced that. So at first I was like, oh man, fucking hey, this is really hard to film cool stuff. But as times went on, like I'm starting to see how sick it is actually. And you know what? I rented this car, and then the next day I figured out that there's actually a train that goes to all the places that we went. And then from the train station, I can just take a ferry to Rishiri. I didn't need the car at all. At all. Could have saved a lot of money and hassle, and could have been chugging beers on the train. God, look how desolate it is out here. It's just insane. it's like my brain wasn't ready to see Japan in this way. It's like antique Kansas or antique Maine, the coast of Maine, or like a sleepy fishing town off the southern coast of Oregon. You know what I'm saying? It's really, really nice. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'll come back here. I don't know. I want to do like more remote stuff in Japan, but I think I need to improve my Japanese a little bit if we're gonna do that. But I do feel like there's a lot of unknown adventures to be had out here, and so I'll probably come back, honestly, brush up on the old Japanese, and try to get a little deeper next time. Yeah, I just wanted to come on here and, I don't know, probably walk back some of the mean comments I said about Wakanai. Well, no, Wakanai fucking sucked. I stand by those. But honestly, Rishiri was better than Wakanai. Actually, no, I don't walk back any of my comments. I stand by it. But I just think it takes a little longer to get used to it than I think I was allowing myself. So we're gonna do some more rustic adventures in Japan. I'm not sure where we're gonna go next. Check out some. Well, I'll let you watch the next video to see what we get up to. I'm not gonna give anything away. So, anyways, guys, thanks for coming along. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Production quality 100. All right, see you guys in the next one. Peace.